In this next tutorial, we're going to discuss how to configure master communications settings. There are multiple ways to connect to a master: via an Ethernet network, via a serial connection to a PC, and via a USB connection to a PC. While Ethernet is the preferred connection method, serial and USB are useful when the IP address of the master is not known. Also, there are two types of master communications settings we are going to discuss: active system communication settings and default workspace communication settings. For now, we'll start with active system communication settings. Access the communication settings dialog box by selecting active system communication settings from the settings menu. If the IP address of the master you wish to connect to is known, select the network tab, then select new and enter the IP address. You may also enter the description if desired and the username and password if necessary. For purposes of this tutorial, we have not enabled security, so we will leave the username and password fields blank. Select OK. You now have a new entry in the connection listing. Now highlight the entry, click Select to apply this new connection as the current master connection. The connection is now shown in the black box at the top of the dialog as the current master connection. You can also double-click your entry to apply it as the current master connection. Once you have the desired connection displayed in the black box, select OK. Verify your connection by selecting the Online Tree tab in the Workspace bar, clicking the Display button, and selecting Refresh System Online Tree from the context-sensitive menu. Alternatively, you can right-click anywhere in the work area to access the context-sensitive menu. Once you have selected Refresh System Online Tree, the connection setting area in the status bar will highlight green if the connection is successful. Remember, green is good. You may be looking at the online tree thinking, what is all of this? Don't worry, the next tutorial will dive a bit deeper into understanding the online tree. For now, let's discuss how to connect to the master if you do not know the IP address. There are three ways you can connect and configure the settings. The first is also a network method. First, connect your PC to the same network as the master. Then, access the communication settings as before and select the Network tab. This time, click Listen for Masters, and when the master appears in the list, click Stop Listening and select Add. This will bring up the New TCP/IP Setting dialog box. Fill in any fields that are not already filled in as needed and click OK. Highlight the new entry. Click Select and OK and verify your connection as before by refreshing the online tree. Another method of connection is USB. This method will only work with the newer NX series master controllers which have USB connectivity. Connect a USB A to B cable from the USB B port on a master to a free USB A port on your PC. Access the communication settings and select the USB tab. The master should appear on the available USB connections list. Click Refresh if necessary. Click Edit to enter the username and password if required. At this point, you may click OK to complete and test the connection to the master via USB. The last method of connecting is serial. Note that this method will only work with the older generation NI series controllers, as the newer NX series do not have serial ports. First, connect a serial cable from the port on the master to the serial port on your PC. If your PC does not have a serial port, you will need to use a USB to serial adapter. Access the communication settings as before and select the Serial tab. Select the appropriate port and baud rate for this connection. The default baud rate is 38.4. Dip switch settings for configuring baud rate may be verified by clicking on Dip switch settings. Data bits, parity, stop bits, and flow control are 8, none, 1, and none respectively. Enter the username and password if required, then click OK and verify the connection as noted earlier. Now that we've covered configuring active system communication settings, let's discuss default workspace communication settings and the differences between the two. Active system communication settings apply only to a single system. Default workspace communication settings are the communication settings which NetLink Studio will use when there is no workspace open. Why is this useful? Well, I may wish to connect to a system to check to see if all devices are online, or perhaps set up a terminal or telnet session, or even transfer firmware. To access the default Workspace communication settings, select Default Workspace Communication Settings from the Settings menu, then highlight and click Select on the desired default system for this empty workspace. Now that we've learned how to get connected to our masters, the next tutorial will cover details of the online tree.